George Morgan here and Jack Burnett. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go!
Down between the Mercedes teammates.
Donoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Berezne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to PSGL here on a Thursday afternoon. We're back for some more F2 action, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Tom Knight, and alongside me is the wonderful Alex Heron. Alex, how are you doing?
It's going well. It's going well, TK. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. I've heard you've had some issues with the game, but we are trying to resolve them in the background. But I can confirm we have got drivers in the lobby getting ready to go racing. And we will switch across to that very momentarily. We will just have a look at our track map for this afternoon. Welcome to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. 4.352 miles and 19 turns for our drivers to try and navigate here this afternoon. Two DRS zones to aid them in any advantage or disadvantage they may have. And speaking of advantages and disadvantages, well, let's switch over to qualifying. As it just hasn't picked up my game yet. There we go.
Oh, it's wet, TK. Oh.
Stream title still says it's Texas.
Oh, well.
I thought I'd change that.
It's a wet qualifying here in Spa-Francorchamps. It does tend to rain at this circuit. We've seen that more often than not.
Yeah, quite often we have seen a rainy Spa here in not only in PSGL but in real life as well, and notably back in the 2020, was it 2021, 2022 season? George Russell getting that maiden podium for himself under, what was it, 1.5 laps under safety car?
21, correct, yes. It was another thing in the weird season we had.
Yeah, we love a weird season that we occasionally have at the moment, but we have got 20 drivers out on our screens at the moment. If you are asking yourselves at home why is Sergio Sobrino retired, he's serving a qualifying ban all the way back from round number 1, and that'll be why he's starting from the back of the grid. Everybody else just getting prepped and ready for their opening runs. And it will be Harvey Cohen that will lead us away.
Certainly will be, as he's going down the main straight now as he goes up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Using the intermediate tyres, I believe, because no DRS is operational through this first section, because of course you do not open the DRS when it is wet.
Yeah, of course, no rear wing being able to be opened quite yet. We have had Jerry Van Bussel not only retiring but leaving the session as well, so I'm going to assume they will additionally be starting from the back of the grid alongside Sergio. But at the moment, we keep our eyes on the R8G driver as he makes his way down through Bruxelles in towards No Name and down towards Pouhon Corner for the first runs here in PCF2.
Yeah, going through what is a fantastic corner. Of course, it can be done flat in the dry, but of course in the wet, a little bit of let off the brake, maybe a shift down a gear as we carry on going through this, well, very much important middle sector.
Yeah, very much so. Keep an eye on the timing out the top right-hand side of your screens. This will set the benchmark for a considerable number of the other drivers as we continue through this lap. Of course, purple sector 2, according to the game, for Harvey Cohen. But take that with a pinch of salt. Being the first driver out on a lap, of course they will go purple. They are the first driver and the only driver at this current moment in time to set a sector time. He now runs through Blanchimont in towards the bus stop chicane to finish off what will be the opening lap here in this qualifying session. 13 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock, and I don't think drivers are going to get as many runs as they would have liked to.
Yes, unfortunately, my whole computer froze while you...
I think we temporarily lost Deflink for a second there. Rishan Jacobs setting the fastest lap time at the moment. 152.6 for the Aston Martin. Harvey Cohen could only do a 153.0. Leo Lund sets the fastest lap time now into the 152s as well. Pretty 52 dead. Pretty much, if you excuse those 300ths of a second. And Keanu Lunter, of course, from the reservists, stepping in this afternoon, goes up to P2, so front row of the grid at the moment. This is not your standard qualifying session. This is just a Q1, also known as a short qualifying session. 18 minutes on that clock, and whoever has the fastest time at the top will start from pole position.
That is correct, TK. Am I back now? Can you hear me?
You are back.
Good, yeah. So Leo Lund right now with a 52.0, I believe, on the fourth. So 3 things faster than the rest of the field. That's quite a lap.
Yeah, certainly is. Top there, actually, another driver that goes into the 52 deads, 0.73 for the Williams driver. Everybody else coming across the line, Liam Stevens up to P5, Nelson Alves, that's going to cause me a lot of trouble here this afternoon, in P6. Camille Statura in was P8, now P9 as Gregory drops him down as the Red Bull driver. Put themselves in P8 as everybody starts to come across the line. Daniel up into P6, and it was Jan Haladek in P4 as well.
Certainly is, as Jerry has found his way back into the lobby. So right now we've got 2 drivers retired, so there's going to be 18 going for pole position this afternoon. And around Spa, pole isn't necessarily a guaranteed chance of a win like certain other tracks, because it's very easy to overtake around here.
It certainly is. We saw a fascinating battle actually in the PCF1 Championship when we came here to Spa. Of course, the infamous circuit, one of the longest on the calendar. The track with the highest elevation change as well, at 102.2 metres between the lowest and the highest point on the circuits. We're riding on board with Luca Rapassa, of course, well known in the PlayStation side here in PSGL, making his PZ debut over the course of this season.
And he did very well in the opening round, I believe, if I remember correctly. In well, not the opening round we did, TK, which was the second round, which was Texas.
Yep, he certainly did indeed. We'll run through the standings in our little break time between the qualifying and the race situation. Ben Marples will be the only driver and the last driver to come set a lap time here this afternoon. He makes his way through Blanchimont corner, and we'll head up towards that checkered, or towards the timing beam rather. Just head a little bit of traffic. One of the Ferraris on the outside lovingly lets him past, and that is good sportsmanship.
Yeah, it certainly is. Of course, you want to let your drivers, and you want to get the ability to get your lap time on the board.
Yeah, you certainly do indeed. Harvey Cohen, of course, who went out first out of any of our drivers, still finds himself actually last on the championship, 153.030. Currently not good enough to find himself not only within the top 15, but anywhere near the top. But the entire grid at the moment split by exactly a second, Alex.
Yeah, and that is quite incredible considering we're in wet conditions. It's a very tricky circuit in general. And of course, these guys are incredible drivers. This is the second best we have to offer here at PSGL, just under your obviously the F1 tier, which of course I believe came to an end yesterday as well, didn't it, for that season?
It did indeed. It was a fantastic end to a campaign in PCF1. Jana Watmir getting the race win after an audacious move through turns 7 and 8, and that is Harvey Cohen now goes fastest out of everybody else and stretches the field time amongst our drivers up to 1.2 seconds. Amazing lap for the RAG driver.
Yes, certainly is an amazing lap indeed. And these guys are just going to get faster because I believe, obviously I can't, honestly, it's still raining quite heavily. I can't see it. I'm seeing it from a distance right now due to technical difficulties, so I don't know exactly how much is going on.
Yeah, it's very wet here in Spa-Francorchamps. I think you could almost go swimming down the Kemmel Strait. I wouldn't necessarily advise it. I'd rather consider it quite cold, but especially with F1 cars going over it, you can see the dry line starting to form, but there is no relaxation to this rain in sight at the moment. We've already got cheers for Ben Marple in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from at home, and of course who you're rooting for here in this qualifying session. We have got 8 minutes and 48 seconds left on our clock, just enough time for 1 or 2 runs, and let's see who can top our timing streaks. Alex, who is your prediction for pole here tonight?
My prediction for pole here tonight, well, I don't know if I want to go with a boring option, to be honest with you, but I mean, you know what, I'm going to say Leo Lund.
Interesting prediction. The VCARB driver that stands in P2 at the moment. I'm going to make a bet here and go for Angelo D'Ortenzio, using his extended name once again here this afternoon after his PCF1 debut performance last night. Almighty debut performance as well, shall I say, finishing within the top 10. So down in P4 at the moment, he's got to gain about half a second, but easily doable on a circuit as long as this.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, you're not going to gain much in that first sector, but of course, it all changes in the wet. The middle sector is where you can really gain your time back, which is where you need to be very careful what kind of setup you choose, because obviously, if you set up for more of a straight line speed, you're going to lose time in the middle sector. But if you set up for more of a middle sector downforce setup, you're going to lose time in the first and final sector.
Very true, and especially with the wet weather conditions, our drivers have the fortunate ability where they have that lobby reset, so aren't necessarily locked into park firming conditions. But obviously, you've got to pick your setup right. As you said, do you go for that straight line speed that will help you through 1 and potentially through sector 3 as well? Or do you go for a more downforce-based setup, really thrive through the second sector? Obviously, you'll be compromised on some of the longer runs.
Yeah, and I think that is what is facing these drivers. It's the tricky decision. Of course, as you say, they have an option to change the setup because of the lobby change. But still, you want to get comfortable with the setup, especially if it's going to rain in the race. We still don't know how that's going to go down.
Yep, we don't indeed. Of course, weather gets randomised once again. Keep your eyes on Leo Lund. He's gone 1.5 seconds quicker through the second sector. So this VCARB is absolutely flying here at Spa-Francorchamps in towards Blanchimont for his run attempt up towards the bus stop chicane, and he's got to get this braking point absolutely right on such a hot run like this. Richard Jacobs goes almost 1 second quicker, 1:51 flat for the Aston Martin. What can Leo Lund do on his run up to the line here?
He's coming up towards the line now, and he goes fastest, 1:50.3. That's an incredible feat. And TK, it's not the only incredible feat you're about to see, sir.
Wow, do tell me. I see drivers that are going quicker as well. Keanu Lintott up towards the line. He's gone second quickest, 1.5 seconds quicker. Oh, we have Alex in the lobby after multiple green crashes for himself.
I just had to reinstall my graphics drivers quickly. That's all the issue that fixed it. So it's all fine, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, we're glad to have him back in the lobby. We'll try and keep an eye as drivers come up towards the line. It's now the different guessing game. Trying to figure out who's on laps. Liam Stevens going 1.5 seconds quicker as well. So Track Evolution is starting to find our drivers.
Well, it crashed again. But yeah, that's yeah, it really is. Sorry, I do apologise, everyone. This is bad for me.
Camille goes second quickest in the Scuderia Ferrari. One of the Red Bulls coming up towards the line. That's Kian, who takes away second spot at the moment. 5.5 left on our qualifying clock. We'll keep an eye as everybody comes through as well. Gregory up to P4. Jan up to P2. Knocks Gregory down to P5. McLaren coming up towards the line. That's going to be Ben Marples, I believe, going out to start there. And no, it wasn't. It was Simon heading for their official run up to P4 for the Papaya McLaren. One of the kick Saubers coming up towards the line now. This will be Daniel, 1 second and some change up through the second sector, albeit doesn't look like it's going to be enough to try and secure pole position.
Certainly won't, but it does put him up to 7th fastest there with a 1:50.8. Good lap indeed. I mean, these are all getting faster. I think the track is getting faster, of course. You put, as to use Martin Brundle, you put 18 cars onto a track. They're like a hoover, just hoovering up the ground and making that dry line form. Of course, it's still raining, but these guys pick up so much water, it just clears it away very fast.
They do indeed. You can especially see on the broadcast how much this dry line is starting to form on the track. You can pretty much see it's like the Red Sea being parted in both directions. We're on board with Angelo, of course, after his F1 debut last night. He's into the pit lane, only P14 at the moment. Other drivers will be looking to improve, and it looks like a lot of them are into the pits, getting prepped and ready for another running with 4 minutes and some change left on our clock.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to be seeing a dry part of this qualifying session for sure. I think it's going to be stay way too wet for that.
Yep, I think it certainly will. If it does go dry, it will be at the absolute death of this session, and it will be a complete gamble to see if drivers can improve on the softer title B. I don't think this rain is letting up any time soon. Ben Marple's 15 thousandths of a second quicker through the first sector, and I wonder if this is time that he's got to find out through the second and third sectors.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got to work on that time. You've got to pass your way through this middle sector, go through no-name corner there for the long left-hander. Currently sitting in 15th place, the McLaren driver will want to jump up the timesheets here.
He certainly will do indeed. He made some good impressions on us in F3 last season, looking to make some good impressions as well in F2 this season, trying to impress some of the esports teams. Looking forward to his future and see what he can do as he heads in towards campus and Stavalot corners, splitting that Sector 2 timing beam. It's 1.4 seconds quicker, and at the moment that would put him at a 50.8. He's got to find half a second in this final sector alone.
Yeah, it certainly will. He's got a lot of work to do to find that time, but can he do it? One final corner to go, one braking zone to go, and that is into the bus stop chicane. It's a tricky corner in the dry. It's even trickier in the wet. Swing it round the bus stop chicane and drive to the line. Let's see what time he can pull on the board, and it puts him on provisional pole with a 1:50.2, but I think that just proves not only how fast Ben Marples is, but how much the track is improving.
Certainly is. You can see the dry line getting even drier as we continue through. Scottish in the chat, if Ben isn't in PSGL F1 next season, I've told him I'm going to be disappointed. Well, he's got a whole season to prove his worth, and if this is the legacy that he wishes to lay down, he has certainly done so. Harvey Cohen, though, half a second quicker than the McLaren went last time around.
It's a cracking lap time indeed, and that means the track is getting even faster.
Certainly is. 1 minute and 54 seconds on the qualifying clock. All our drivers will be on their final runs. It looks like Ben Marple's decided to go for a somewhat of a split strategy. It doesn't look like we're going to be seeing Daniel out, or he's got an incredibly quick outlap to do here. He comes out the pits with 1 minute and 40 left on the clock. Considering we're doing 1 minute 49 laps, he's going to really have to put his foot to the floor on this outlap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to make the line there, TK. That seems like a lot to do in not very much time.
I think you're absolutely right. I don't think he's going to make it time. We will keep our eye on Daniel. Of course, he'll be the last driver heading through. You can see the entire field heading through the second sector now. Riccardo Benzoni will be the driver that leads us away for our final runs. And considering how slow some of our drivers are running, I wouldn't be surprised if he is caught up by the time he reaches that checkered flag, or at least the timing board.
Yeah, and I mean, look how many people are close together. But again, we should mention, of course, we do have ghosting on, which means it's not really much of a problem for a lot of these drivers.
No, certainly isn't indeed. And, well, we're heading up towards the bus stop chicane. 44 seconds left on our clock, and we're almost ready to go for our final runs. Ben Marple's almost certainly not have enough to go again, unless he does, and he is wanting to put one final run in. Harvey Cohen joins the back of the pack, but we will ride on board with Riccardo Benzoni as he takes us away for our final hot laps.
Head into the first corner, heavy braking zone into the first corner before swinging it right. Of course, now the run up to the best corner in Formula One. It is the greatest corner ever put into a racetrack. It is Eau Rouge and Radion, and keeping it flat to the floor as well. Very brave in the wet, but you can see the rain, I believe, has stopped now here, TK, which means the track is going to get faster. The last person to cross the line, and I think he did make the line. I think the Kick Sauber driver did make it.
I think he has. He has managed to keep going. So 18 drivers all now barreling towards the line. Riccardo Benzoni half a second up through the first sector. I think this is going to be an almighty end to our qualifying session. The time remaining has entered our screens, and we have got 18 drivers out on the field at the moment. Of course, Sergio and Jerry both will be starting from that back row, and now it is crunch time.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is game well, this is for everything now. This is for pole position. Let's see who can pull it off. Is it going to be? Well, it's going to be one of our top 18, but I think it could be the last one that crosses the line just because of how dry this circuit will get by the end of it.
Yeah, you never know. There might even be an opportunity where DRS becomes enabled at the last chance of asking. Ricardo Benzoni 3 seconds quicker through the second sector alone. We'll try and keep on board as many as possible as they do cross the line. I think it will be one of the Scuderias that join behind him. It will be Camille that finishes off their lap, I think, in third at the moment. But for now, it will be the Haas up to the line and almost certainly will be going quickest.
Certainly will. Let's see what time they're all going to have to chase. Here comes Ricardo Benzoni. Benzoni crosses the line. It's a 1:49.2, but surely people are going to go faster than that.
Yeah, almost certainly here. Keep an eye on both Mercedes, bottom of the charts at the moment. They're heading through the final couple of corners. Leo Lund goes quickest at the moment. Simon could not do better. Angelo up to P3 after his debut in F1 last night. Nelson Alves up to P2 in the Williams. At the moment, it's a Williams 2 and 3. Harvey Cohen couldn't go quicker. He's only in the mid-pack. So it looks, I think, like Leo Lund will be taking pole here.
Well, it seems I know my stuff because I predicted that man to be on pole position, and he is on pole for the Belgian Grand Prix with a 1:48.8, 3/10 faster than his nearest competitor.
Absolutely incredible stuff. V-Carb in P1. Both Williams line up Titman 3, and then Angelo, after his return to F2 from his F1 appearance last night, finds himself in P4. From then on, it's Benzoni, Lekomsky, Cohen, Marples, Suchara, Rapassa as your top 10, and then Rishan, Ion, Gregory, Keanu, Daniel, Kean, Daniel, Liam as your qualifiers, and of course Sergio and Jerry as your non-qualifiers for various reasons, but that's how our grid will line up in the next couple of months. My camera's out of focus for whatever reason.
And we are back. Well, that was an exciting qualifying session as TK tries to focus his camera. But TK, if your camera
There we go.
could focus, what would you like it to focus on?
Well, Alex, I'd like it to focus on this. Well, welcome back. Well, go for it. Go for it.
We're back, and we're back from our exciting qualifying session. Thank you to GT Omega again for being part of the PSGL community. And we're going to get ready for an exciting Belgian Grand Prix coming up. And Leo Lund is on pole position, and a dominant pole in the end. We expected guys towards the back of the grid to go a lot faster, but Leo just had that, almost 4/10 advantage on the rest of the field.
Yeah, absolutely incredible lap right at the death of that. Guys watching on Twitch, can you just let me know if the Twitch title has updated? I'm fairly sure it should have. I've done my job properly this time. I must have had too many things trying to change it at once, and that is why it was showing as Texas origin, but I can confirm we are at Spa-Francorchamps. Title is updated. Thank you, Victoria, for confirming that we are indeed racing at Belgium according to our race title. But Alex, you know what's more important than watching some qualifying?
What is more important than that, TK?
Watching our standings.
Ah, nice.
So, do you want to run us through them?
I will, yeah, let's run through. So Angelo sits on top of the standings on 23 points, with Toppy in second place on 16, and Ricardo Benzoni joint second on 16 as well. Then Nelson Alves in third on 13, with Luca Rapassa also on 13. So that's your top 5 drivers there. And it's still very close. Of course, it's only round 3, ladies and gentlemen, so it's still all to play for. But yeah, very close already, TK.
Yeah, it really, really is. We'll switch over. Just a reminder of how I did line up for this season. We have got a couple of drivers missing this afternoon, some reservists stepping in, and I'll remind you of who is doing that. So, by the looks of things, Jerry Van Bussel steps in to replace Felipe Souza in the V-Carb, and Keanu Lindhart is in this afternoon to replace Sixten Lindhart in the Alpine. No other changes have been made for this evening, so that is pretty much how our grid lines up.
Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. And yes, if you're curious, what was the technical difficulties behind the scenes? Just to fill in the void quickly. For some reason, my game won't load at all. It's actually for once, I don't think it's the game's fault. I think it's a feature of my computer right now. So I'm currently repairing my Steam folder to see if that is an issue, and I'm going to try and boot it again. So wish me luck, everyone.
Well, you have got some time to wait. There were a couple of drivers out, and well, much like last week, let's name them. Harvey Cohen and Jerry Van Bussel both went out and decided to do laps in the race situation, and obviously delaying the start to the Grand Prix. And I'm going to call them out. It's rather frustrating for us here in the commentary box, just waiting for them to get themselves sorted.
Well, normally I'd be frustrated, but for once I'm quite happy that they've done it, so I can try and fix this problem. But yeah, it's booting right now. So everyone, have your fingers crossed that we can get this sorted. But yeah,
get those fingers crossed emotes in the chat. See if Alex can actually launch his game for once, or whether he'll be qualifying off a screen share in Discord of my game. And we'll see how it goes. Leoland Rain Merchant says, Frankie, yeah, let us know who you're rooting for in the race situation, of course. Leoland will start from pole position. Both Williams will be behind him in Ps2 and Ps3 respectively. And I think it's going to be a great opening lap in this Grand Prix. The run down to La Source, the run up Eau Rouge and Radion, and down towards the Le Combe chicane.
Oh, he crashed again.
Well, Alex will be commentating from a screen share this afternoon, and he'll have to try and figure something out for tomorrow. But hopefully, we won't be waiting too much longer to go racing here this afternoon. I think we are just having everything set up and ready. Dylan Warren in chat, need Harvey to either put on a masterclass or crash so he can get okay. Well, I heard Harvey Cohen is cooking up a masterclass for this afternoon. Of course, down in P20 in the championship at the moment. He needs some good points tonight.
He certainly does. You want to get yourself climbing up the the championship standings, and you're only going to be able to do that if you pick up the points.
Certainly are indeed. We'll wait and see who's going to get ready and set to go racing. I don't think we've got anything else that we can cover. We'll just remind ourselves of where we're racing this afternoon. Belgium, of course, Spa-Francorchamps, the longest circuit on the F1 calendar, 4.352 miles and 19 turns, just over 7 kilometers, 2 DRS zones, and the highest elevation change in all of F1 for our drivers to try and compete with on the run from Les Combes all the way down to La Source, 102.2 meters.
Is it the perfect racetrack in the world?
I'd have to ask our close friend, who I've now forgot the name of. This is going to be really embarrassing. Helmut Tilke.
Helmut Tilke. Well, he didn't make it, so...
He didn't, so I don't think he'd consider it a perfect track.
No. He only considers his masterpieces perfect.
And probably Le Mans as well.
And Le Mans, yeah.
Le Mans is just the ultimate test for race cars, full stop.
What about the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife?
I'd argue they're two sides of the same coin. I think that is probably the best way of looking at it. But all that does matter at the moment, Alex, we have got all our drivers ready. The lobby has been set. The grid has also been set. And it looks like we're going to head off into the race situation. The stream has turned into a ramble stream. Have you ever seen me and Alex commentate before? This is what happened in the downtime.
This is a classic Alex and TK commentary right now.
Certainly is. Bathurst has been thrown in as the best track in the world.
Oh, I mean, it's not a bad option.
Is it the best though?
I think we all know the best circuit in the world is the Vietnam Grand Prix.
The race that never happened.
What a classic race it would have been if it did, eh?
Well, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on on the lobby. Just make sure we're almost ready to go racing. We've got the countdown on our screens, and well, I think, are we hoping for a dry race or are we hoping for a wet race?
You know, I'm hoping for a mixed conditions.
I'd love a mixed conditions race.
A mixed conditions race makes everything better.
I'd also like
think.
a 2021 situation.
Well, could you imagine if that was programmed into the game? Then it would be a ramble stream.
Oh, I know red
That's-
flags are a thing for weather. I can confirm it's dry though. You can save your bets. You can praise your priests. It is dry here in Spa-Francorchamps. So we're going to switch across to the racing.
It's helpful for me too because now I can actually see what's going on.
Well, that was my primary focus, making sure that Alex can actually see our grid and our race. Alex, I'll let you take us away for lights out in the next couple of moments.
That would be lovely. That would be lovely.
yeah.
I've just tried to boot it for the final time and it hasn't worked. So I'll now focus completely onto TK stream.
I said this to Nathan last night. It'd be so nice if we could have a camera angle of the grid at this moment in time instead of just watching the pit lane.
Yeah, you think that would be good, wouldn't you? That's what you'd think. But hey, what do we know?
We're just commentators.
We're just commentators. But anyway, we're going to get started in just a moment's time with the Grand Prix as the lights are coming on. The 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, red lights. And run away for PSGL F2 as we race down towards the first corner. Leo Lund with a fantastic start there as he puts on the brakes going into the first corner. He's being challenged by the 2 Williams drivers with Angelo in 4th behind, but Leo leads as we run up towards Eau Rouge and Radion as Nelson right up behind him, right up his rear as we race down towards the first major braking zone on the circuit. Will he use that slipstream effect? Will he use that overtake mode? As here comes the Williams drivers. Is one going to go to the inside, one going to go to the outside? No, a little pushing there as he's going to go for it down the inside as Nelson takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix.
He does indeed. Ricardo Benzoni as well, wanting to get up. He tried to swoop around the outside of the Les Combes chicane. He'll just have to sit and wait behind the Williams of Tope though. But as you said, Nelson Alves leaves from Leo Lund, who just had to give up that position in towards the Les Combes chicane. But in doing so, held up the second Williams. A fantastic tactical play from the Vico.
It certainly is, and it's a Haas 4-5 as well with Benzoni and Cohen in there. Angelo dropping down to 9th there at the start of this race. It's not been the best opening couple of corners for him. Ben Markle up in 6th place. But Nelson leads ahead of Leo, ahead of Poppy, ahead of Benzoni as your top 4. A lot of lockups going on here, TK, and a couple of mixtures of tyres. I'm seeing hards and mediums across the grid. But actually, no, I'm not. I'm only seeing hards. I'm clearly going insane.
Yeah, that is your 1 tyre graphic for the opening stint. I will not be putting that up again because everybody is on the hard tyre. There we go. Every engineer at home is sat nice and happy. It is the complete whitewash of the white tyres as we head in towards the Les Combes chicane. Looks like there's moves further back. The Papaya McLaren trying to hold off Angelo D'Ortenzio, of course, making the return back to F2 after last night in F1. He's lost 3 or 4 positions in that 1 corner alone.
It's an Aston Martin versus Mercedes duel as they're all battling into that final corner, into the bus stop, as they go wheel to wheel. We could see a wheel to wheel throw Rouge. I'd love to, but I don't know if these drivers are tempted on a battle that can end very horribly wrong. So we race now down the back straight, of course, with DRS wide open now. But there we're going to change for the lead once again. Leo Lund takes the lead of the Grand Prix here at Spa-Francorchamps, and a massive lockup as the 2 Mercs. As we go 3 wide, it's the first corner. That's never going to work. It's surely not going to fit, but they still manage to do it as the 2 Mercs go wheel to wheel. Oh, little bit of rubbing is racing there as we go down the braking point. Smoke firing off of the Mercedes car as Gregory tries to go down the inside, going around the outside of the corner with no name. No, surely not. No room there. The Mercs getting very aggressive with each other here, TK.
They are indeed, and I think that's compromised both of their exits out of the first and second sectors. We keep on board with Rashaan Jacobs trying to make a move on Simon here in towards Campus and Stavolo, of course, as we cross the Sector 2 timing beam. And the top 10 all at the moment proceeding upon ceremony. Jari van Bussel here making a move up past Gunnar Lundtart, of course, one of the reservists this afternoon. There is moves further forward as Rashaan Jacobs now manages to get past the Papaya McLaren as we head in towards Blanchimont.
Yeah, making the move before Blanchimont smart. We have seen moves around the outside of Blanchimont, but it's a very dangerous corner to be making such moves. As we go into the bus stop chicane, got to move in behind there. Is that Gregory trying to go around the outside? As I think he was a little bit touched there going into the bus stop chicane, and it's dropped him from, well, 14th place to basically last.
Yep, I think Sergio will get him in towards the bus, in towards the braking zone here, or to sort of try and swoop him around the outside. And that is Gregory dead and buried down in last place as things stand. Camille's got a good run of Ben Marples here as we cross over Radion over the crest of the hill and on towards the Camel Straight. But Ben Marples has a good run on Harvey Cohen as well. The front three still close together as Leo Lund retook the lead of the Grand Prix. The two Williams have now an opportunity to try and work together.
Certainly do. There's a huge battle going on here between the Aston Martins, the Mercedes and the McLaren. As down the inside goes one of the Aston Martin drivers. I believe that's is that of Jan. It is Jan going down the inside, and he gets past the McLaren, which is run wide there, which is allowing Angelo to go round the outside of No Name Corner, and a fantastic move indeed. And the Aston Martin's so aggressive this afternoon.
Yeah, it certainly is looking like it. Both of them, of course, now teamed up together, 9th and 10th place respectively, with an almighty field behind them. But the battle at the top still close together as always. It's Williams double act and then a Haas double act as we head through the top five. Ben Marples and Camille, of course, sitting 6th and 7th. Lucas Rapassa makes it a Mercedes sandwich, with Aston Martins being the filling here this afternoon on lap 3 of 22. I think there's going to be a lot of team games here in Belgium.
Yeah, there certainly is. I think Rick Camp's going to go for it around the outside of Blanchimont. Kean Gordondorp, on the other hand, is going to go for it on Seisman. He's already made the move to stick, and he's up into 12th place as one of the kick Saubers goes around the outside of Seisman. Can he complete that move stick? Daniel is going to make it stick. Can he confirm it going into the braking zone? They both have DRS, and he's done it before the braking point. And the Alpine of Liam Stevens is going to go storming down the inside. Big lock up there. How's he made it work? They still go wheel to wheel. Surely not through Eau Rouge. They're going to still go wheel to wheel. He's still there on his inside, but he won't commit to Eau Rouge. That is a clever idea. But a Haas driver here of Riccardo Benzoni is going to go for it as Nelson Alves takes the lead of the Grand Prix. The other Williams driver doesn't go for the move. A little bit too far back, TK.
Yeah, I think they thought about a send down the inside, but aware of how long this Grand Prix is going to be. Time most certainly on their sides, with the pit stop still to come. I think in the second stint we might have seen the Williams driver try and make that move in towards the Lecombe chicane, but in towards Bruxelles we go. Nelson Alves still leading from Leo Lund from top A as your front three. There's a battle further back as Keanu Lundhart loses out to Jerry Van Bussel and Sergio as well. Both the drivers starting on the back row, up to P17 and P18 respectively. I think the Alpine might have an issue because he's dropped even more positions now.
Yeah, it looked like he's coming onto the grass when we got onto his camera. Don't know what happened there. Battle in the sort of the rear of the grid, but there seems to be a gap forming, TK, between Rishan and Camille, 7th and 8th. 2 seconds now, 2.5 seconds almost, the gap there. So there seems to be two groups forming here at Spa-Francorchamps. Obviously, we saw some safety cars. Did we see a safety car last week? I think I'm thinking of a different thing, aren't I? No, we didn't see any safety cars in Texas.
No, I don't think we saw any at Texas, but look how close this front four are heading in towards the bus stop chicane. Riccardo Benzoni practically pushing the Williams of top 8 through the bus stop chicane, and this is going to be incredibly close on the run through Eau Rouge and Radion up down the Campbell Straight. We'll keep an eye on how it develops.
Certainly is. Of course, the slipstream in this game, we've mentioned it so many times on every broadcast we've done of this year's game. It is so powerful. And here we go, up through Eau Rouge, keeping it flat to the floor there. Not a lift in the mind of these drivers. They've got to keep it flat, otherwise you are going to be slow, as Leo Lund is looking to line up a move. But in the background there, you can see the Mercedes is looking for a move as well. I think Luca Rapassa has got round the outside. That Aston Martin defended so aggressively against them both, but they both managed to get the move done, as down the inside tries to go Seisman, but cannot make the move, as Daniel is in 15th place now.
Yep, certainly tried it. Daniel, of course, up to P14. This is how our changes have been made over the course of this race. Keanu Lundhart and Gregory having a good battle for last place on the grid at the moment, but it's not gone the way of Simon, of course, qualified up in P6. He's already dropped 10 positions in 5 laps. It's been a horror start for the Papaya McLaren.
I do wonder if he's got damage, but surely that's not enough. He can't have made that many mistakes. And he does. Front left end plate is gone.
Yeah, the other driver losing out a considerable number of positions was Angelo, and look at that, front right end plate missing as well on that Mercedes car. So 2 cars struggling with damaged front wings, and that explains why they've lost so many positions in the opening laps here.
Keane Gordendorf has made a move on the Aston Martin driver of Rishan Jacobs before Blanchimont. What was that effect coming up through the ground? We're going to ignore that as we go into the bus stop chicane, and it is Keane Gordendorf ahead there of Rishan Jacobs.
Yeah, it certainly is, but for how long will be the question. Can the Aston Martin try and recoup what he thinks is rightfully his on the run down towards La Source, turn number 1, lap 6 of 22, rapidly approaching half-race distance already, and the gap between Jan and Camille has dropped by about a few tenths of a second, as that gap now stands at 1.8, now 1.9 seconds on the run through Eau Rouge and Radion over the top of Kemmel, and down the Kemmel straight we go.
You'd expect that with the DRS advantage, but here goes Leo Lund. Is he going to go for it here into that braking zone? Of course he will. Just too much power on that DRS. It seems the team game is being played by the cars going 2 by 2 because they are not making the overtake.
Yeah, they are playing a team game exactly that. I think they're going to wait for the second stint of this Grand Prix and wait, of course, for pit stops to come into consideration. We are going to see, like the Red Sea, the field split practically in half when the first drivers head in towards their pit stops. We'll have 1 Williams, 1 Haas, probably 1 Mercedes and 1 Aston Martin remaining out for an extra lap. And then they'll be reunited once again when those pit stops come into their own.
Certainly will, as we are now racing through this, going into what is the final sector of lap 6. And I wonder how we're going to see them split, because of course, as you were just mentioning about teammates, Leo Lund's teammate is down in 18th place, DK. He's in no position to cause an undercut or, an overcut and put doubt in the minds of the Williams engineers.
You say that, but at the same time, they've got that advantage where they don't have to keep a driver out for an extra lap. They probably could go in for a double stack opportunity, get the pit stop done slightly earlier than some of the other drivers and have that fresh set of tyres for the extra lap. The undercut could be more powerful that way.
Certainly could be, and Keane Gordendorf is on the charge again, going to go in front of Angelo here, go around the outside of turn 1, a little bit forced wide there, but understandably so. Liam does not want to lose any more positions as he races down towards Eau Rouge, up towards the Kemmel Straight. As here we go, up we go, the highest point we go to on this racetrack. Such a fantastic corner to ride on board with. DRS is going to be open, and surely it's going to be a 1-2 punch there. But then down the inside, one of the Williams drivers thought about making the move, as it actually looks like Jan has lost out to Luca Rapassa there, and Keane Gordendorf didn't make the move. He's waiting a little bit longer. Oh, big slide there from Riccardo Benzoni. Wonder how much those front tyres are struggling, DK. Something we should also mention. It doesn't look like the clouds have clouded over here at Spa-Francorchamps.
It certainly is less sunny than when we started this race 7 laps ago, and as you said, we quite often get changeable conditions. We've seen rain, I think, in the last 2 or 3 races here in PSGL. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it once again this evening. This could explain why a lot of drivers went on towards that hard tyre, trying to run out the rain. As you can see, the dark clouds in the distance starting to encroach on the racetrack. Massive snap there for Harvey Cohen coming through coming through Campos and Stavolo, and the Haas cars at the moment, as you said, I think the tyres are starting to be on their way out.
Of course, dirty air has been reduced by the regulations we're currently under, but it still does affect these cars, and it will affect the wear of those front tyres, especially because of how many lockups we've already seen. I mean, it's probably very cold around the circuit as well. If the cloud has come over the sun, it will be cold around this circuit. It's higher up, different temperatures as well. It can all affect the tyres and all affect, the certain engines as well as we race down towards the to Eau Rouge again. There's moves going on towards the back there, but Nelson Alves might be thinking about lining up for the move here. It's definitely darker than we started as we go up through Eau Rouge now, and surely this is going to be the move for Nelson Alves. Is he going to pull to the right-hand side? He's going to make the move stick, and is the Williams driver of Tope going to follow him through? He certainly will. The 2 Williams drivers, it's a Williams 1-2 here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Certainly is indeed. Fantastic move for the Williams esports drivers. They head through for the time being in towards Bruxelles for the 8th time out of 22. Williams up towards the top of the podium and top of the steps, of course. Leo Lund will have to settle for P3 for now, and I wonder if this is the invitation that the Hasses will need to make their way through as well As we continue nearly approaching half race distance, it comes up so quickly on you here at Spa with how few laps there are. It feels like we've just been starting this race 5 minutes ago.
It really does. 22 laps is not a long time in Formula 1, and this is a quick circuit. It may not seem like it because of the length of the circuit, but you fly through it at a rapid pace. Sun coming to shine once again here at Spa, so I don't know if the drivers will have to worry about the rain, but I have said more cursory things in Formula 1 commentating before. But Riccardo Benzoni not going to look round the outside of... no, surely not. That was going to be a dangerous place to make the move. He needs to wait his time now. Or will he go for it into the bus stop chicane? No, he won't. But I think he got an invitation because Leo Lund, you could see the light flashing in the back there, TK. That's not a brake light, sir. That is him recharging the battery in his ERS.
It certainly is, recharging that battery, and fastest lap to Jan down in P8 at the moment. I think the Hasses, as you said, might have got that invitation down, well, especially towards the Kemmel Straight. All of them starting to recharge their battery, and the question will be if, not when, the moves are starting to be made. We were expecting them in the second half of this Grand Prix, of course, when the fresher tyres go on, everybody on lighter fuel loads. I think the Williams are going to be using DRS games to their advantage. Nathan Alves getting overtaken by Toppy. They're switching the lead of the Grand Prix, saving some tyres, but also holding back the V-Cup behind the both of them.
Yeah, they don't need to fight each other. They just need to let each other pass on that main straight, and it'll be absolutely perfect. A lot of teamwork going on here because, of course, let us not forget, this is not a team championship. This is a driver's championship. Of course, we do have constructor standings, but it's all, it's one for all and all for one. I think I said that wrong, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you certainly do. No team championship being awarded points throughout the course of these Grand Prix. And I think the team game is certainly being played between the Mercedes here. Angelo playing defence for his teammate Lucas Rapassa, of course, this second Mercedes with damage on his front wing. And that could explain why he's holding Kean behind him as Simon becomes the first driver with 3 seconds to his name.
Yeah, and 27 seconds back. Did he make a pit stop and we didn't notice it?
Yes, he has headed into the pits.
So you're going for a very, very early undercut.
And it's on to medium. So 19 hard runners and 1 medium runner. There for your engineers at home.
There you go. And here we go into the bus stop chicane once again. Yeah, and I believe, as you are rightly so, Liam is defending for Luca Rapassa because he's got damage. They can't close up to the front because Jan's now dropped off the top. Well, he's still closing in on the top 7, but Luca Rapassa has slowly dropped off the back of Jan as well. Still in DRS range, which is keeping his dream alive, but it's dropping away slowly for them.
Certainly is indeed. We'll keep an eye at the top of the pack though as you run once again down the Kemmel Straight, down towards the Lecombe chicane. Both Williams will surely switch positions, but I think Leo Lund might be thinking for an opportunity. Nope, he's going to sit in behind, potentially charge some of that battery as he was very late on the brakes in towards the chicane there. The V-Cup getting very close to the rear of the gearbox of top as we continue through Sector 2 through Malmedy and in towards Bruxelles. Simon get a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's a retirement here this afternoon for Pie McLaren and makes us down to 19 drivers.
Yeah, I think he knew that he wasn't going to catch up to the rest of the grid and decided to call it a day this afternoon, which is always a shame to see, but sometimes the races just fall that way. It definitely did not go Simon's way this afternoon, but he'll come back stronger in the next round. But now returning towards the front of the grid, and it is Leo Lund who is closing in on the top 2. I thought I saw rain on the camera there, TK, but it might just be from the spectrum thing. I don't think there is any.
Not on my screen at the moment, but you never know. You can't rule it out here in Spa-Francorchamps. It's certainly looking very dark over the skies. And Seb in chat, thank you for that engineer at home update. You're so welcome. We try and do our best for the guys and girls at home. Kean Goldendorf getting through and past Lucas Rapassa. That teammate game really not playing out for Mercedes at the moment.
I think that damage is really hampering. As we got a little bit of a kerfuffle going on here in the bus stop chicane, and it seems, I would imagine, because we didn't have a camera angle, that one of the Hasses has gone down the inside of Leo Lund, has not made it work, and has caused a little bit of kerfuffle. It has opened up the gap to the Williams drivers to almost a second. Did Leo get DRS before the detection point?
Well, that's the question. The detection point is actually as they head into Eau Rouge. Will that rear wing open? Let's have a look. No, it hasn't. The V-Carb could be left stranded here. The Williams boys have an absolute blinder on their hands.
They certainly do. And Harvey Cohen is going to go for the move, and he's going to make it on Leo Lund. And Leo Lund went from, well, leading this Grand Prix, now sitting out of the podium places. and I wonder what happened in that bus stop chicane. It can only involve Mr. Riccardo Benzoni and Leo Lund, I would assume.
Yep, I would be assuming the same as you. Unfortunately, didn't quite catch that on the camera screens. It happened too late for us to be able to switch across at the right moment. But as you said, that now leaves the V-Carb slightly stranded. Harvey Cohen back within DRS range, though, of the two Williams that stand in the lead of this Grand Prix. And at the moment, both the guys from Grove looking very, very racy.
Yeah, they are certainly looking racy indeed. I wonder how much Leo is going to give to the man behind him if that was what caused the incident.
Yeah, interesting to note as well just how far Lucas Rapassa is dropping down the field now. He was P9 for a considerable amount of this race. Of course, he had Angelo, his teammate, trying to defend him for his life. You can see the damage on his teammate's car there. No damage report on the Mercedes of Lucas Rapassa. And I wonder if that is causing the issues.
Yeah, I think that damage is becoming a major problem now. Do you think it's thing for call for Merc? I was literally about to say the same. I was literally about to call this. Is it a good option to pull him into the pits now as he's dropping down the grid order, get him a fresh set of tyres, get him a front wing, and just send it for the next couple of laps?
Yeah, I think that might be the play. Interesting that only Kick Sauber and Mercedes have pulled one driver in towards the pit lane. Of course, Haas and Williams will be at least another team looking to try and make that undercut, overcut decision for a lot of their drivers. The Aston Martins will suffer the same fate, as well a considerable number of other teams on our field at the moment. The Williams switching positions once again as we head in towards the Lecombe chicane. Kieran Gundorp getting up past Angelo as well. That damage really coming to blows for the Mercedes drivers. We head through the second sector. Jan still with a 1.7 second deficit to Camille that stands in front of him at the moment. But the pit strategies are really going to be on the mind of some of our drivers here at the moment, especially with the risk of double stacking.
Yeah, the risk of double stacking around a circuit, as long as this is not what you want. And I mean, it's not exactly the biggest pit lane in the world either. It's a very thin pit lane indeed. And of course, it leads right out in towards the run to Eau Rouge. So you want to make sure you're behind the driver going up Eau Rouge, because of course, as you mentioned, TK, the DRS detection zone is at the top of Eau Rouge, I believe.
Yeah, it's actually just as you crest the dip in towards Eau Rouge, so you'll see it as you start to climb up the hill. That is where the detection point is, and obviously as you crest the top of it, that's where the speed trap is, just on towards the Camel Straight. You can see that on the track map at the bottom right-hand side of your screens. But of course, we've had a couple of drivers into the pits already. Do the Williams split strategies? No, they're staying out. Leo Lund in towards the pit lane. And does anybody else? Pit a considerable number of drivers behind pit. Camille, Jan, Kian, Angelo, Rishan, Liam, Sergio, Dylan. I think Jerry will probably go in as well. No, he stays out. But the top five all staying out.
A lot of those drivers have just pinned, I imagine, obviously, exception being Leo, have done it to cover off Luca and Daniel, who are just coming down the main straight now. I'd be interested to see where they come out compared to these drivers. We see Ben Marples coming down the main straight now. He's going to make the move past Riccardo Benzoni, and he's up into fourth place. And in terms of the undercutters, Daniel and Luca have basically got in front of the entire section of the pack. It was a very good undercut. The only people that got in front of them was Kian, Jan, Camille, and Leo, the guys you'd expect to get in front of them.
Yeah, your second update for the engineers at home. Everybody in the pit has put the medium tyres on there. You're welcome. And we'll have a look when the top 5 or 6 do decide to pit as well. Keanu Lunta getting up past Sergio in towards the Lecombe chicane. Keanu Lunta as well, picking up a 3-second penalty in his opportunity when he went for that overtake, so may not have paid off too well for the Alpine driver. That finds him up with close proximity to his teammate. 3.3 seconds. Rashan and Gregory having a good battle further back as well. But the question will be, when are these front 5 going to pit? You've surely got to think this lap. But Williams at the moment are on the knife edge of a double stack.
They've got to cover off Leo. Leo is going to be on a charge now. And I wonder if the reason why Jerry stayed out, TK, is to be a little bit of a cork in the bottle for the guys right behind Leo. I mean, he could play the ultimate team game here, or he's going to pit this lap. And, oh, we got a yellow flag in Sector 3. Who does that involve? It would look like it was further down the grid. Daniel's dropping down the order there, but keep an eye on the guys that have pitted. Daniel got damage? I can't see just yet.
Doesn't look like it, but we'll keep an eye on Leo, because he'll be the first driver to come through. I think he's going to pip a few of the drivers out that did decide to pit as Lucas Rapassa sets the fastest lap here. Round the source they go. And you see the drivers heading out the pit lane there. Yes, they've been beaten on the undercut.
And that's going to open the eyes of the front three, because they are really not going to want to get caught again. And I think Jerry is staying out here, TK, because he did not come into the pits on that lap. He is going to do the job for Leo Lund, I believe.
I think you might be right, but you've also got to remember that V-Cup has damage, so if he lets his teammate past, he's going to really struggle to hold some of the other drivers behind him as we continue through this Grand Prix. Camille gets past Leo here, and that could really hamper the plan with V-Cups.
I think that's the plan, possibly game, set, and match, to be honest with you, because for the plan to work, Leo needs to be in front of Camille, and then Jerry needs to somehow hold them up without front wing damage. And it's going to be very tricky from here on out. I wonder if Leo may just decide to send it in a corner, try and get him back in front of his flank, because they are closing in on Jerry rapidly.
Yeah, you can see Jerry in the foreground of their shot there, the stranded or the straggling V-Carb just ahead by a couple of corners as we head out of Sector 2 here on lap 14 of 22. It feels like the race has only just begun as we continue through this Grand Prix. We'll just switch to the front of the field very quickly, see if our top three, as expected, do come into the pit lane. And Ben Marples and top 8 is Ricardo coming in as well. There we go, front three in. So Jerry Van Bossel will take the effective race lead as things stand.
Well, let's see if he comes into the pits. We'll see what Leo Lund is going to go. Is he going to lunge it down the inside? No, he won't. Does Jerry pull it into the pits? Jerry pulls it into the pits, so he's not staying out as the blocker. I wonder if plans changed after Leo was overtaken. Now the top three, where have they come out in terms of this battle? They have got a lot of recovery drive to do, I believe, TK, because they have come out behind a massive pack of drivers.
They certainly have indeed, trying to keep an eye. Ben Marples down to P9 as he peels out the pit lane, so he's got 8 drivers standing in front of him, 4 positions down from where he effectively was before the pit stop started. But look at the lead of the Grand Prix at the moment. Camille will lead us down the Camel Straight. It's side by side between the Williams and the V-Cup. The Williams pushes the room through. They're going to go 3 wide, but the Williams nice and compellingly through into the lead.
Well, that was a Schumacher Zonta Hakkinen moment right there, going down the main straight, but it involved Nelson, Leo, and Camille into the heavy braking zone. What a fantastic move indeed for Nelson to take the lead of the Grand Prix, because he knew Leo was going to come down his inside as well. But similar to what Hakkinen did, he used the car he was overtaking as a little blocker.
Certainly did indeed, just pushing that V-Carb off towards the side, made room for himself. It's a very smart move from the Williams driver. He has to try and hold this lead though for the next 7 laps of racing once we cross that timing beam. And although that may be not an inconsiderate amount of laps, you got to consider just how long this circuit is. 7 kilometers over 7 laps. They've got nearly 50 kilometers to hold this race lead.
Yeah, it's a long way to go, and it's going to feel long indeed. It may be not many laps if you look at the top left-hand corner, but it will feel long for the drivers. Long straight, long braking zones, and of course long DRS zones as well. If there's one track you don't want to be leading on the last lap, TK, going on to the last lap, I should say.
Yeah, I think you can add it to the list of potentially Mexico, maybe Vegas, even Saudi Arabia as well. Of course, we know how powerful slipstream and DRS has been here in F1 24. Drivers are well accustomed to it by now. They will have strategies and tactics written up and where they expect to be heading on to lap 22 of 22 as we crest Eau Rouge and Radion for the 16th time. 7 laps to go here in this Grand Prix. We run down the Camel Straight. Leo Lund pulls alongside, is ahead of the Williams, heading in towards the Com chicane. The Ferrari, though, of Camille just has to stay behind.
Yep, just staying behind for now in 3rd place. As we've got another move in the background. Rishan Jacobs up into what is 12th place. Luca Rapassa has left the session.
Heartbreak.
And it's gone from bad to worse for the Mercedes driver.
Heartbreak for Luca Rapassa, and I think that must be no fault of his own. He is dropping positions left, right and centre. Will surely succumb to Liam Stevens here. Of course, if this was F1 Esports, we'd have a VSC thrown, but we don't have the ability to do that here in PSGL, as Angelo D'Artenzio does get a 3-second penalty to add to his race time as well, albeit down in P16.
Camille got one as well. And Gordondorp.
Interesting.
3 seconds up at the front of the grid.
Well, it was time and time again, and it was when not if some drivers did start to get them. Harvey Cohen here on a good charge, past Camille, through and nicely done in towards the bus stop chicane. And the Haas driver, using the same power engine as the Scuderia Ferrari, gets up into P3, in towards the podium. King Goddendorp as well, getting past Jan as Tope drops down to P7 in one corner.
Yeah, loses two places in one corner. It's not what you want to see. And of course, this was a Williams 1-2 not, 5 laps ago. And now it's a Williams 2-7 at the moment. But it can still all change. Still a long way to go for these drivers. We're on lap 17 of 22. It's gone past rapidly, I must say. As we're going to see another move here. I think Jan's going to go for it on Kian Goldendorp, the Aston Martin driver. Oh my goodness me, what have we just seen? And it's a massive crash for Goldendorp, and it's a safety car here at PSGL. I have not seen the like, TK.
Oh my, I have absolutely no words of what I have just seen there. Goddendorp absolutely shunted in towards the barrier. His car was ghosted for about half a second before that contact actually came into effect, and then you just saw the Red Bull car sliding off irreversibly in towards the Armco barriers. And of course, we hope the driver is okay. He will, retire and leave this session for an early shower. But Bert Mailander has been called out into effect. I think we are going to see a 3-lap sprint until the end here.
Are we going to see a rapid dose of pit stops here, TK, for some soft tyres?
I would not be surprised in the slightest if we do see some drivers in towards the pit lane here. We'll keep an eye on who does dive in, who decides to stay out as well. And of course, we could have an Abu Dhabi 2021 situation on our hands. Drivers may not want to pit in the fear of losing track position.
It may do. That's one of the most unusual incidents I've ever seen happening on the main straight here at Spa-Francorchamps. And I mean, as you said, it looked like his car ghosted for a few seconds, and then it just spiraled right into the wall.
Yeah, it did. I have no explanation to justify what we've just seen. I think Leo Lund's in.
Leo's pitted.
But the front two stay out.
Oh my, wow. That is a mixture and a half of drivers that have stayed out in terms of track position. So Leo, Camille, Jan have come into the pits for soft tyres. The rest of the grid have stayed out for track position.
Wow, this puts Leo down to P10 by my calculations. There we go. He's coming out in P10, so still in the points-paying positions. But if we only have 3 laps of racing here in this Grand Prix, it's going to be an almighty challenge to try and pull back some of the drivers.
You've only got, let's logically think about it, we're only going to have 1 or maybe 2 laps of DRS as well.
We certainly are. We've got, oh, Lucas Rapassa's finally back in.
Well, he's going to be in for a shock when he gets back in, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's going to think the race is completely thrown away and actually find himself up in P6, which I think will find a positive result as well. But I'm just going to say, I think we've got a relative of Kian Goddendorp in the YouTube chat, and I think the emoji or the expression says it all.
I can't describe what that incident was. I need to see a replay from Kian's perspective, because that's such a strange incident. I'd love to see it from the Aston Martin's perspective as well, what he would have seen, because they clearly didn't collide into each other because the Aston Martin carried on going. So it's a very strange thing.
It was nasty bizarre. Pascal is Kian's father. I didn't want to assume, but obviously like last name was the same, and it's a fairly unique surname. So I did have a fair assumption in my head, but as you said, no explanation as to what happened there. Tonight will be a fun night to be a steward. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I mean, it's going to be an interesting one indeed. But yeah, what an odd incident indeed for their driver. But we're on lap 18 of 22, and I don't believe we're restarting on this lap because we've just gone through the sector line, which means we're going to have at least another lap, which means we're going to restart on lap 20, TK, with a 2-lap shootout.
Well, you say that. Sometimes we've seen a very late call from the safety car, especially here at Spa, as we round sort of this corner, even as late in towards the bus stop chicane. But I'm assuming because we haven't done one full lap yet under safety car, that will be why it is deciding not to go in. But we do make our way in towards the bus stop chicane, so we have got one more lap at least. And as you said, going racing on lap 20 of 22. 3 laps to decide the victory here. and of course only 2 laps with the DRS assistance.
And the thing is here with Leo, if you look at Leo Lund here in 10th place, the guys on the medium tyres have not been on the mediums for very long, TK. And we know, we've commentated so many races together, we know how tough these tyres are in this year's game. It's the softs. Softs seem like a Hail Mary attempt, considering you were sitting in 2nd place.
Yeah, it certainly is. We'll keep an eye as we go through, because I have no idea how this race is going to go. And as you said, the Williams at the moment are in prime position. But Leo Lund down in P10, how much is he going to be able to get up? Jonas Martins, of course, strategist and engineer for Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports, got the name correct, is convinced that he can only get up to about P4, but not even that.
I think P4 would be to quote a famous quote, that he's going to need a miracle, TK. That's what he's going to need. But safety cars and soft tyres, I've seen miracles happen.
Yep, we'll keep an eye on how it goes. And this will be fascinating. I think, as you said, maybe he was banking on some other drivers hopping into the pits alongside him. When that didn't happen, that's probably hampered his chances. Jonas says mediums are faster than softs after 3 laps anyway. Well, isn't it good that we've only got 3 laps of racing?
Oh my goodness me, this is going to be a close one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I did not expect a safety car coming out in one of the most unusual incidents you'll probably see in PSGL, was Kian Gordendorp crashing on the main straight, going straight into the Armco barrier. He is luckily okay from what we've seen, but goodness me, what a strange incident. It's led to this safety car with only 3 laps to go, and it's Nelson Alves who will lead us away here ahead of Harvey Cohen and Toppy in 3rd place. Ben Marples finds himself in 4th, Riccardo Benzoni, Luca Rapassa, and Sergio in 5th to 7th, and then Gregory in 8th, Leo Angelo finds himself in 9th, and then our softs runner of Leo Lund in 10th, with all the work to do, with 3 to go. We're going to have DRS for 2 laps at this circuit, because of course it's not enabled until 1 lap after the safety car restart. TK, who's your money on?
Well, right now, Ben Marples is going to be my pick down from P4, but I think get your predictions in the live chat who you're going to think will take that top spot after the 3 laps of racing. 21 kilometres to go here at Spa-Francorchamps. We've got heat going into the tyres, and both Williams will try and work together. Lots of support for Gregory in the live chat, down in P8 at the moment, of course, still on the ageing medium tyres, and Nelson Alves does take it slowly through the bus stop chicane. He puts his foot to the floor. The green flag will fly, and we do indeed go racing once again here at Belgium, and it's Williams as we head into turn 1.
Here we go, the battle for 3 laps to go, and Leo has made his first move on Liam Angelo, and he's up 1 place at the start of this restart. He is on a charge, TK, but how much can he charge before he finds a wall to charge into? Here we go down the main straight. Toppe is going to go for it. Can he make the move stick, or is Harvey Cohen going to take the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix into the braking zone? They're going to both brake in late into the corner, but Harvey Cohen brakes later. The Haas car leads here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Yeah, he does indeed. Leo Lund up to P8 as well. After that, there's a bit of a battle further back. I think it was one of the Mercedes getting slightly slippery. Jan as well, trying to go side by side. We got yellow flags. I know we don't. That's still the safety car warning from earlier. And Jan up to P10, just holding off Camille from that race restart. But both Williams working together here from the safety car situation. They will have no DRS on this lap, so it is pure downforce and straight line speed. Liam Stevens there picking up a move past Angelo D'Ortenzio up to P12 for himself. Return Jacobs following himself through. I wonder if there's more damage on that Mercedes, or if they didn't pit and change that front wing.
No, they have got a new front wing, but they've just not been able to fire up these medium tyres. Someone that has fired them up, look at Leo Lund on those softs. He's going to go for it here on Sergio. He's going to make the move down the inside, and he's going to get up into 7th place. The charge is on here, TK, for this place. There's all Ben Marples, my goodness me, catches the grass on the inside as the Williams will go wheel to wheel into the bus stop chicane. They cannot harm themselves here because there's so many hungry drivers behind them. Luca Rapassa, Riccardo Benzoni being one of them. But the man I think they've all got to worry about is this man here in the RB as he goes down the inside. He's up into 6th, TK.
He is indeed. Sergio as well, late on the brakes in towards turn number 1, rear end, wanting to slide out of that kick Sauber. He's up to P6 with 1 lap gone. DRS becomes enabled now as we head down the Kemmel Straight. Keep your eyes on this front 3. It's Haas supported by 2 Williams at the moment. Both Williams will move to the outside line with the reduction in the drag system, and they get up to P1 and P2 respectively. Let's keep an eye though on Leo Lund. He's up to P6, dispatches Luca Rapassa, who's come back from connection issues, and it's up another position for the V-Cub.
He certainly is. Can he get himself up into the top 3 here at least? Oh, as we go down the inside, we're going to yellow flag in sector 2. I think that's one of the kick Saubers of Daniel. And as they go wheel to wheel, Ben Marples on the inside. It's Riccardo Benzoni. They go wheel to wheel into a corner you never see. And it's almost cost them big, but it's given Leo Lund an opportunity. And he's lunged down the inside. He's up into 5th again. Surely not. Surely he can't make this alternate strategy work.
Yep, you never know. He's up to P5, 1 place away from where Jona Martins predicted that he would finish. He's got a lap and a half to compete with at the moment, and he has Ben Marples well and truly in his sights. How long are those soft tyres going to remain at an advantage for as we head through Blanchimont for the penultimate time? Lap 21 of 22. At the moment, it's still the Williams that lead through this Grand Prix. Luca Rapassa getting up past Riccardo Benzoni up to P6. Leo Lund now really on the gearbox of the McLaren in front of him.
Nelson Alves has got an 8/10 gap to the Grand Prix lead. We're on the final lap here at Spa-Francorchamps. This is all or nothing for the drivers up at the top of the grid. Who's going to win this one? Who's going to walk away with those podium places? And can Leo Lund get himself at least onto that podium, as there's big battles going on behind with Riccardo Benzoni, who's dropped further down. But here's the man of the hour. Here's Leo Lund in the RB. Is he going to get Ben Marples down the main straight here? DRS open, ERS used. Is he going to pull to the inside? There's no defence that Ben Marples could do. And Leo Lund is up into 4th place. Oh, but down the inside, he broke so late into the corner. He was never going to make that work. And he's down into 5th now. Big contact in the back. Yeah, Jerry's facing the wrong way and is missing a front wing, but we return to the front of the grid as Leo has got 1 more place to make if he wants a podium place.
Yep, he does indeed. We'll keep an eye as we head through P1 corner, the double left-hander. This is where the soft tyres will really start to come into their own. He's got the braking zones to try and contend with in the 2nd and 3rd sectors though, but he's got 4/10 of a second to try and pull up to the Haas car that stands in front of him. He's been flying over the course of the last 2.5 laps. He's managed to pull his way back from P10 on this field with just 2.5 laps gone. He's now on the gearbox of Harvey Cohen as we run down towards Blanchimont. Yellow flags continue to fly further back for Derek Van Bussel, but the lead of the Grand Prix is still going to be determined by one of the 2 Williams. Leo Lund is still looking to get on towards the podium. This will be a dive down the inside of bus stop chicane. I'm almost certain of it. He dives down the inside. He's later on the brakes, but he can't make it this time around. The Williams will come home in 1-2 here at Spa-Francorchamps. Nelson Alves followed home by top. Harvey Cohen will join them on the podium. Leo Lund couldn't quite do enough this time around. He'll finish in P4.
What a Grand Prix. And Leo did get 4th in the end, as predicted. But goodness me, he was close to 3rd. But that was 1 lunge too many at the end. But goodness me, what a Grand Prix we've seen. But it's a Williams 1-2. And it's Nelson Alves from top A from Harvey Cohen.
Yep, it is indeed your top 10. We will run down in a moment. A couple of people asking what happened to Gregory. You can see the wing damage there suffered by the Red Bull racing car down in P15, and that is rather unfortunate for any championship perspective for himself. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of words flying, a lot of reports going into the stewards after that final lap, and Luca Rapassa gets driver of the day from the game. But who would be your personal driver of the day after today's race, Alex?
Oh my goodness me, there's so many to choose from, to be honest with you. What a fantastic drive from everyone on the grid. I mean, I think I've got to give it to the Williams pair. I mean, I know I'm going to have 1 driver a day, but I'm going to pick both Williams drivers.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think also Leo Lund with his amazing comeback drive, setting the fastest lap, I think on that final run as well. And Jona Martins, his P4 prediction wasn't too bad. It's almost like he's an esports engineer or something. But there's Nelson Alves.
He's rather good.
He's pretty good at what he does. Nelson Alves tops our timing sheet. Top 8 in P2, and Harvey Cohen rounds out the podium. Leo Lund couldn't quite do enough to get on there. 2/10 is what separated him from the steps. Ben Marples, Luca Rapassa, Ricardo Benzoni, Liam Stevens, Daniel, Camille Statura, and are your top 10. And then Rishan Jacobs, Angelo Dotenzio, Keanu Lindhart, Daniel, Gregory, Sergio, Jan, Jerry Van Bussel are your finishers for this afternoon. And of course, Kian Godendorp and Simon Lekomsky are your DNFs. What a Grand Prix. What a Grand Prix.
Yeah, what a fantastic Grand Prix here in F2 once again. And I mean, yeah, that was crazy once again. I mean, the safety car right at the end changed the whole race again, but I'm amazed Leo managed to get to fourth. But again, the F1 esports engineer seems to know what he's talking about. So, but he had a really good go at third on that last corner. He had to try and send it, but I believe that was one dive too many, and he didn't want to cause a major incident, so he decided to back off, which I think was the smart decision.
Yeah, it certainly was. And of course, I think it was a first F2 podium here this afternoon for Harvey Cohen. It's the second time that the Williams have finished 1-2 in this season of F2 here in PSGL. So mighty achievements all round, all considering. I'm sure we'll get people in for interviews in the next few minutes. Alex, I'm not sure if you're able to ping our top three and see if they're willing to come for a chat. But what a race all round. The safety car really spicing things up right at the end there. And of course, who knew if weather was going to come bad for our drivers? We saw dark clouds about halfway through the race. Unfortunately, the sun prevailed once again.
Certainly did. So it's Harvey, Nelson, and
Harvey, Nelson, and Tope. Tope. I don't know. He can correct us in chat if he's here. Harvey is in the waiting room. We'll pull him in almost straight away, and we'll have a chat with him about his first F2 podium.
Hello, Harvey. Congratulations, sir, on your first F2 podium. What a fantastic Grand Prix in the end, even with the safety car at the end, and with Leo Lund right behind you for a lot of that Grand Prix towards the end of it. You still came away with your first podium. How do you feel, mate?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's good. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's like my first ever F2 podium, so a bit of a long time coming. But it was nice to finally get it. You know, I think I've been building up to it for a while. I mean, last season I felt myself that I was putting in some really good results. For all that, it might not show. I know myself what I was doing, and that there was race wins on the card. So yeah, to get a podium was good. It was a good race. You know, obviously you said Leo Lund behind me for a while. There was some guys out there, putting on constant pressure, but sometimes it pays off to just use your head a little bit, as I think quite a few of these people in F2 don't know how to do that. But yeah, just use my head. The safety car came out, and I think I just played it a bit too safe. The Williams guys did a good job. Great teamwork, both helped each other. But yeah, pretty happy to get my first F2 podium.
Yeah, and I think thoroughly deserved as well, because obviously we saw Leo come into the pits when the safety car came out. Was there ever a thing of you like, let's go for the soft tyres, or were you very happy to just have track position?
No, I mean, I knew that when the safety car came in, there'd be only about 2-3 laps of racing. And I knew that my mediums were only about 6% worn at that point. They weren't very worn, so I knew that I'd still have some tyres left compared to soft, and I knew that if there was anyone behind me that stayed out, then it would be pretty hard for the soft runners to get through. And I think that showed. I don't know what happened behind, but it looked and sounded like there was chaos. I mean, I think only one soft runner out of the many that pit made it to the leading group. So in the end, it turned out to be the right decision. Just trusting my gut.
Yeah, and it certainly did, and it came away with your first podium, mate. Of course, the next round we go to, let me just have a quick look for the calendar. TK, you might know better than I do.
You're putting me rather on the spot here, and I do actually know what it is. Let me just have a brief reminder. We head
Canada.
It is Canada.
It's Canada. What's your thoughts about Canada? Well, that doesn't fill me with confidence, Harvey, going into Canada.
Yeah, I mean, I've not really league raced at Canada. I think in the past I've had good memories there. I remember like on 2020 I had some good races, but since then I've not really raced it, so it'll be a bit unknown territory for me. But I'll give it a shot. Never not going to try my best, so we'll see what comes from it. Hopefully a miracle can come.
That's what we love to hear, and congratulations, mate, on your first podium. I'm sure you'll be in here many more times this season.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys. Have a nice night.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
mate.
mate.
Good to yourself.
What a nice fella. What a nice guy.
What a
he is.
lovely fella.
I think the other two Williams drivers, they're divas. They don't want to have interviews. They're already going to celebrate. Champagne's already popping in the Williams garage.
They've done what Yano did last night and have already loaded up Black Ops 6.
Yeah, they've already got it started. I wish I could. Turns out I can't load any game up at the moment. But we're going to ignore my PC problems and we're going to think about what's going to happen next week. Of course, we'll be back next week for F2 at 8 p.m. once again. And we're going to be, as we mentioned briefly, with Harvey. Yes.
Yes, with Harvey.
With Harvey. Don't know why that just completely confused my brain for a second. But we're going to the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. It's a fantastic circuit, very different to Spa, but one of my favorites on the calendar. TK, any final thoughts before we move on?
Another fantastic race evening here in PSGL F2. They never fail to bring an exciting race. And who knows, we might see a fantastic race at Canada. Not me praying for wet conditions, though.
No, of course not. Let's see what happens. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you want to get involved in the PSGL action, of course, follow at Premier Sim GL on social media, on YouTube, Instagram. You can join our Discord and get involved in the conversation on Twitter, on TikTok, and of course on Twitch, where some of you may be watching tonight's stream. But yeah, we will be back next week at 8 p.m. On Thursday, isn't it? It's Thursday.
It is Thursday.
8 p.m.
Yes.
At Thursday for Formula 2. So thank you very much for watching. From myself, from TK, it's a good night.